Hey everybody, I'm Eli Stouth. This is Read to Your Kids, and today we're talking about picture books that are great for girls. Your daughters, your nieces, your friend's daughter. Books that feature great female protagonists, someone to look up to, great female role models. For each book, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story, I'm going to tell you about the illustrations, and we're going to talk about the language and what it's like to read the book. So, let's hit it off. Number one, Rosie, Revere, Engineer, by Andrea Beatty, illustrated by David Roberts. There's 4 of these books out now: Iggy Peck, Architect; Rosie, Revere, Engineer; Ada Twist, Scientist; and Sophie Verez, Future Prez. Haven't gotten that 4th one yet, but it looks good. Rosie Revere and Ada Twist, both females. Why did I pick Rosie Revere? Because it kind of makes me cry every time I read it. I'll tell you what. Anyways, the story we get in this one, it's about dealing with adversity, overcoming failure as you're working towards something. So we have Rosie Revere, young girl, loves inventing stuff. One time she invents something for one of her uncles. He laughs at her and she thinks, he hates it. I'm never going to show anyone my inventions again. Later, great Aunt Rose really inspires Rosie with the way she's lived her life. And she says, I'm going to make this lady a flying machine. She tries to, she fails, it doesn't work. Her Aunt Rose sees it, laughs at her again. Rosie feels terrible. But then her Aunt Rose teaches her a fantastic lesson, which is, no, this is great. This was your first attempt. And yeah, it didn't work, but it flew that much. You should be happy. Failure is part of the process. That's what's going to happen. You're never going to get it right on your first time. You got to keep doing it over and over again, and it's going to get to be something great. So it's got a good lesson in there. Let's talk about the illustrations. David Roberts, you can check him out on Instagram. He's Dr. Illustration, really cool stuff. You can see here on the page, I want to show you a couple of the things. In all of these books, you're going to find he just has the most incredible outfits. So you can see here a lot of fun stuff. He's got other pages like this where there's just all kinds of stuff going on. I like doing this with my son as kind of a search and find as well. So as you're looking at it, you go, oh, can you find the roller skate? Can you find the 3 elephants? All of these pictures are really good. Later on in the book, you get some stuff like this where he uses the graph paper, there's notes, there's Rosie dreaming up all kinds of different flying machines. So it's a really fun book in that sense. Now, let's talk about the language. Andrea Beatty does a great job on all of these. It's really fun to read. The verse is really fun. I like this little exchange between Rosie and her uncle, so I'm going to read that bit to you. But you'll see it's just a lot of fun to go through. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud. But Fred slapped his knee and he chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat, and then looked away.
"I love it,"
Fred hooted.
"Oh, truly I do."
But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day, kept her dreams to herself. But as I've told you, Rosie gets her confidence back when Aunt Rose shows up, and so it's a great lesson at the end. Really feel good. Fun to read, fun to look at, all kinds of good things going on in this book. Get it for your girls. They're going to enjoy it. Book number 2, Me, Jane, by Patrick McDonald. Patrick McDonald, cartoonist, did the whole Mutts series. He has a bunch of books out. Real animal lover, so a lot of his books focus on animals, people who love animals, and that's what we're talking about here, because Me, Jane is Jane Goodall. So this follows the early life of Jane Goodall, who, among other things, made the observation that chimpanzees are able to make and use tools. Before that, everyone thought that only humans could do it. Jane said, no, you think you're special? Monkeys can do that too. Chimpanzees are apes, I apologize. This goes through the story of Jane Goodall in her early life. Early on, she gets this stuffed animal, Jubilee. It's a little chimpanzee, takes it everywhere she goes, loves it. Lives in this house with a beautiful backyard. She's out exploring, learning about nature all the time. Sees chickens' eggs hatching, dreams about going to Africa after reading Tarzan books, and then finally gets to go there in the end. It's simple, but really beautiful, and the illustrations are fantastic. So let's talk about those right now. This is characteristic in all of these pages. You've got Patrick's kind of watercolor art over here. On the opposite side of the page, much more realistic sketches. The text that you see on this page, that's about what you're going to get on every single page. So it's a pretty quick read with the kids. And he has a nice poetic way of writing without it actually being in verse. So you're not getting rhyming in this book, but it does read nice. Here's another thing. There's a lot of Jane's actual illustrations. This whole spread these are Jane Goodall's, and she was making these when she was just a little girl. So super impressive and fun to look at. Now, what does it sound like to read? Here's a great line. It was a magical world full of joy and wonder, and Jane felt very much a part of it. Jane often climbed her favorite tree, which she named Beech. She would lay her cheek against its trunk and seem to feel the sap flowing beneath the bark. Really nice cadence to the whole thing. Short, sweet, delicious, and what's the best part? This book made me cry too. A lot of children's books do, so we'll look out for those recommendations. This is the part I love at the end. It gets me every time. Jane, she falls asleep with Jubilee to awake one day. Jane's all growing up here, and then he hits you with this beautiful picture to her dream come true of Jane Goodall reaching out to touch the fingers of this cute little chimpanzee. And man, if Jane can do it, why not my daughter? Her dreams could come true too, and that's enough to make me cry. I don't know about you guys. So, book number 2, Me, Jane, Patrick McDonald. Fantastic read, great art. Check out his other books as well. You probably like them. Number 3, ooh, this one's tasty. You guys, tasty is the right word for it. I never get the focus here. So, Mary Wears What She Wants by Keith Negley. Keith Negley, incredible illustrator. Check it out, keithnegley.com. Does awesome editorial work. He has 3 children's books out right now. A 4th one coming out in a week or so, April 20th, 2020. Mary Wears What She Wants. You can see from the cover here, the illustrations are just a lot of fun. The way he uses patterns. So, what's this story about? Well, Mary is Mary Edwards Walker. One of the first women known to wear pants. Seems crazy, right? And that's what this whole book is about. Now, Mary challenged a whole bunch of social norms. She did a bunch of work in the Civil War as a surgeon, which she was honored for by the military. This book, look at all the stuff Mary's doing. This book talks about Mary's early days. Once upon a time, but not too long ago, girls weren't allowed to wear pants. Can you imagine? And today we cannot, but this is the world that Mary grew up in. So what's this story about? This is about her decision to start wearing pants because dresses were a super pain in the ass and she couldn't do cartwheels at school. She started wearing pants and she went out and everyone thought she was crazy and they threw eggs at her and they were like, this is terrible, what are you doing to our society? But she stuck with it. She went out there and now everyone can wear pants because Mary and other women like her decided to slough off the old social norms that were keeping them from doing just normal things like wearing the clothes that they want. So, illustrations, I've showed you a little bit. I got to show you a couple more because the way, like I say, look at this spread of outfits. Man, everyone is just so interesting, but I always come back here because this pattern, I don't know how many times it's in this book, but this whole suit, this guy's whole suit is this zany pink checker pattern. And I don't know, that's actually really nice. Keith Negley's great at that stuff. I read you the first page already, so I guess that was a little extra treat. This, I like the exchange between her and her dad, because I think there's some nice lessons in there. Here we go. Mary didn't understand why everyone cared so much about what she wore. They've never seen a girl wearing pants before, said her father. Sometimes people get scared of what they don't understand. So I should go back to wearing dresses? Asked Mary. Oh, I didn't say that, said her dad. I love that little bit. Man, some great fatherly wisdom. This whole situation, he doesn't tell her what he thinks she should do. He just gives her a new perspective so that she can weigh her options and make her own decision, which she does. And she goes out there and decides to keep wearing pants. And now everyone gets to. This book is great, guys. And like I say, Keith has another one coming out like next week. So, and then that one is about the guy that invented the wind turbine, and it's called like the Blue Girl or something. I'll put the link down below so you can find that. But really fun ones. Yeah, so that's that. Hey, if you learned something here, like the video. If you're like, yeah, I got something out of that. If you want to see more of these kind of videos, smash that subscribe button. And if you stick around, then I'll see you the next time we do one of these. Thanks. Let me find the right word, the word I want to say, the one about something that you did every day.